My question is, are investors too optimistic? There's obviously going to be tremendous demand for this treatment, especially with President Trump now pushing it as a test case, but also talking about how it's going to be given for free or at very little cost to consumers. So what does that mean for the company?
Well, I mean, we upgraded based on kind of the platform that Regeneron has, which kind of is instructive of what's going on with COVID-19 and their innovations there, is that they have a robust antibody platform technology that allows them to kind of get from A to Z very quickly, as you saw with COVID-19, for example. So what do I think that means, for Regeneron in general? I mean, I do think most likely there probably will be some cost to the drug. And certainly there'll be high demand. They've obviously been working with Roche to kind of, ramp up manufacturing for this. But, we saw data last week on the drug, and I certainly do believe the effects that they're seeing are real. So, I think it makes reasonable sense for them to move forward with an emergency authorization use in light of where we are at with COVID-19 right now.
Are they going to be able to produce enough of it for how much it's needed, especially if they start to get data showing that it works prophylactically as an actual way to prevent people at risk from getting sick with COVID-19? Is there going to be enough of it?
I mean, it's a tall order. I mean, they have combined with one of the best kind of manufacturing bodies in the world between the two of them. So, I mean, it's going to take time. I mean, everything is taking time with this disease, right? Because you're supplying for like hundreds of millions of Americans versus like, tens of thousands or a million. So I think with time they can get there. But, I think they're scaling as fast as they can and being as efficient as possible. And, in the beginning, I think the people who are potentially the most sick will get it as a treatment. And then over time, people may get it, who are on a preventative basis. I mean, it may be somewhat like a vaccine. I mean, I think the vaccines have the same problem as well.
To go back a little bit, Alethea, to Sarah's first question, how much does this cost per dose at the moment? And what's it realistic to get down to in the short term?
Well, I mean, if you use like Gilead as a proxy with remdesivir, it's roughly, I think the commercial price is about $5,000 and the government price is about $3,000 a course. So, I mean, I would guess that potentially that might be how to think about a cost for an antibody cocktail as well.
How do you view the U.S. government in terms of being in charge here of the supply? Operation Warp Speed, they put money in and then they sort of take a lot of the initial supply. How does that get distributed? Well,
I mean, I think it's kind of hard to tell. I mean, it's kind of the whole issue that's a global kind of issue that we have. But I do think probably my guess is the United States is probably taking a greater share of any potential Regeneron COVID-19 cocktail for the moment. But it's still a little bit TBD in my mind.
In terms of your valuation on Regeneron and your price target, what portion of it is related to COVID treatment?
Ironically, it's actually very small. I mean, it's certainly under 10% of my valuation. It's a possible near-term driver for 2021 earnings if they're able to get approved. But this is kind of my point, is that Regeneron, as far as the company itself, is much greater than this COVID-19 story. They have obviously drug for blindness with Eylea. They have a drug for heart disease with Praluent. They have Dupixent, which is a drug for kind of atopic diseases of the skin. And I mean, these are multi-billion-dollar drugs, each of them separately. So, really, this is like a cherry on top when you think about COVID-19. And it's a testament to the robustness of their platform that they're even able to kind of bring something this quickly to realization. So, I think, it's really not a big driver for me, but I mean, certainly it's a cherry on top and it will help drive earnings as well.
Alethea Young, thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Shepard Smith here. Thanks for watching CNBC on YouTube.